Hey, Marcus here, Sword and Sci-Fi guy. Could Miyamoto Musashi, arguably the most skilled person with a sword to have ever lived, who won his first duel at the age of 13 and went on to win at least 60 more, who fought in as many as 3 large-scale battles, and who invented his own dual-wielding sword-fighting style that is still taught today? Would this mortal legend defeat a big bug with sword hands? That's right, in this spicy video I'll be covering if Miyamoto Musashi could defeat a level 1 Scyther. But I'm not just gonna guess. Since it's difficult to figure out who wins what in the real world due to so many factors, I decided to put this battle in the Pokemon gym. We've got the stats for a first level Scyther right here. High attack and high speed out the gate with a decent amount of health. Even though you bump into these while walking through grass and then have time to whip out your flaming rabbit or whatever, this Pokemon would take off the legs of a normal person before they could even blink. But what does it mean to be a real normal person in the Pokemon world? How would we quantify that in the same way that we quantify Pokemon strength, speed, and attack? Well, I looked into the Pokemon stats of humans and found a few very well thought out posts on forums. And I'll link one of those below. The most well thought out and scientific one that I found was by a user named Severus Sniper. Here's what they calculated. 1 hit point per 0.25% body fat. Attack is 1 point per kilogram that being can carry. Defense 1 point per 23 milligrams per cubic centimeter density of the upper layers of their body. I don't even know. Special attack is 1 point per 0.04 megawatts of brain energy consumption, or 2.37 per IQ point, and 1 point per any magical power. Now, IQ score isn't really the best way to quantify intellect, but it'll work here. Special defense is unknown, but they just copy the special attack by Gen 1 rules, and then add or subtract values to match existing Pokemon. And for speed, 1 point for every 0.5 kilometers per hour of running speed. Given those data, a normal human would look like this. Health 72, attack 40, defense 47, special attack 237, special defense 174, and speed 30. I think it's pretty funny and fitting that we have a high special attack but no innate moves that could make use of it. However, we make use of every single tool that we can find, including swords. So I think that is fitting for Musashi, who is just built different. Now, I took a few liberties when coming up with his stats, but I think Miyamoto Musashi would be a steel fighting type because, you know, swords and martial arts. This isn't really relevant in the fight because there's no inherent weaknesses, but I think it makes sense. His health would be 70. Using this scale, he was likely pretty fit, so a bit below normal here. His attack would be 65. Given his skill with a blade, I think that makes sense, even though it's still about half that of Scyther's. But given that the bug was born with those blade hands, I think they could maybe use them a bit more intuitively. Defense of 55. Normal human, though I account for being able to block and parry using his dual-wielding style in special defense. Special attack, 260. Musashi's brain is obviously above average, at least when it comes to using the blade. And special defense, 200. I think that this takes into account using swords as a defense pretty well. His speed would be 70. A good athlete's speed would be 60. Usain Bolt has a speed stat of 90. I think 70 would be good to represent Musashi's superior reflexes over all opponents, but I doubt that he could earn that number just by sprinting. As for his level, I personally think that things start shifting from, just playing around with weak Pokemon to seriously having weapons in your Pokeballs at around level 20. So that's what level I'm giving Musashi. Probably the highest that any human could really achieve. Yeah, it's pretty arbitrary, but As for the actual fight, let's imagine a river on the edge of a forest. Musashi in his prime, enjoying a meal while contemplating the sounds of a frog hopping into the water. Then he hears a rustling in the trees behind him. quickly, ever ready, he draws both his katana and wakizashi in his signature style of combat. Ready, he waits. A green body emerges from the foliage, short, significantly shorter than the approximately 6-foot-tall Musashi. At first, the samurai believes that this creature is holding swords just like him, but then he sees that they are attached to the beast. He digs his feet into the ground, taking the best stance that he knows in order to fight this demon. And the demon charges at lightning speed. But before I continue, let's get into the mechanics of Pokemon battles. They're fought using a complex formula, and I hurt my brain figuring it out just for you. They have a specific attack, and combine that with the attack or special attack and the level, and just smash that against the opposing Pokemon's respective defense stat and level. I'm using Slash for both of their attacks, both to keep it easy and because Sword Slash and Scyther knows that move. I do use Special Attack for Musashi since he's applying his years of skill with the steel weapon. The first attack. Scyther lunges forward so quickly that Musashi can merely raise his wakizashi in an attempt to lessen the scything arm from cleaving into his side. But biting through the pain, he thrusts with his own blade. In this first exchange, Scyther attacks first due to their ludicrous speed. Scyther's attack against Musashi's defense comes out to 8 damage. However, I think that any Pokemon strike against a human would be super effective because we're fragile meat bodies. But even so, Musashi is able to deflect most of the blow with his wakizashi due to his strong defense. The samurai then deals a whopping 48 damage because he knows how to use his swords to kill, while the bug doesn't exactly have the luxury of practicing only combat. This takes Scyther down more than halfway. Scyther then attacks quickly again, only to find the bladed arm blocked by steel once more, then the bug sees a flash, and then nothing. Miyamoto Musashi is victorious against a level 1 Scyther in just 2 rounds, although he is now bleeding and almost half dead. Or half alive. He will surely die if he does not receive medical attention from Nurse Joy immediately. Or maybe he'd faint. Yes, Miyamoto Musashi, arguably the most skilled human with a blade, could beat a level 1 Scyther, but only at great cost. And the Scyther would only have to be about level 9 to defeat him far more often than not. Yeah, Pokemon are strong. I have a short video about how they could take down the entire United States military.